Oh, good morning. On this episode of Cooking with Squirrel, we're going to be making chicken ballotines. Let me get changed and we'll get started. To make this chicken ballotine, first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our stuffing. Alright, we've got 5 ounces of spinach, about a tablespoon of beef fat. You can use whatever fat you want. Just bear in mind we're trying to add levels of flavor. About a cup of grated Gruyere cheese. You can use whatever cheese you want. Some sliced green onions, 2 cloves of garlic, salt, pepper, and about a cup of croutons. The first thing you're going to want to do is get your black iron or whatever skillet you're using smoking hot. Now that we got our skillet hot, we can go ahead and add our fat or cooking oil of choice. Now that that's melted, we're going to go ahead and add our garlics and green onions. Get them. We're going to give them a really quick saute. So give them a quick shake. Alright, now we're going to add our spinach, and this is going to be a very quick, maybe about a minute they're in here. While that's going on, add a little salt, a little pepper, and give them a quick toss. Alright, now that we've wilted them down, out of the skillet, back into the bowl they go, just to return to room temperature. And while they're doing that, we can work on the chicken. Now that we've basically wilted that spinach and gave a light caramelization to the vegetables, we're going to break down the chicken. We're going to do it slightly different than the last time we broke down the chicken. Let's get started. In the words of Jacques Pepin, essentially we're going to take its pajamas off. Alright, the first thing we want to do is here on its back, we're going to score it all the way down. Just like that. Now, just like before, we're going to go ahead and remove this wishbone. And like I said, it can come out in 1 or 2 pieces. It really doesn't matter as long as it comes out. So we've got it in 2 pieces. Now, we're going to set this chicken up, and we want to cut through this joint. And you'll feel where it's at because your knife will go right through it on its own. It may take a little digging around to find it. That's okay. Through that one. Also, while we're doing this, you're going to want your oven at 400 degrees. See right there where I found it through, cut right through it. Same thing on this side. So, in the words of Jacques Pepin, now that we've cut through these joints, we're basically going to take this chicken's pajamas off. We're going to pull it down just until we see the oysters, right? Sure, right here and here where my thumbs are. And we're going to turn it around and pull down the front. We got to make sure though we've got that joint fully cut through. I believe we're good on this side. Okay. We're going to get underneath these oysters and pull them out. Right. right there. That's the oyster. Same thing on this side. Just like that, right? So, keep pulling it down until all right, so where we're at now, we want to go ahead and cut through the joint of this leg, right? Pull that off, pull that off, pull that off. We have nothing but a carcass. Into the stock pot bowl with that. Well, I take that back. We've got our tenders. We'll remove those in a minute. Now what we want to do, now that we have the pajamas, if you will, in the words of Jacques Pepin, is what we want to do is go ahead and remove, we're going to remove, for this instance, we're going to remove these bones. So just like before, we're going to come in here and straight back. Same thing here. Now we're going to want to remove these bones. To do that, we want to come around the joint and all the cartilage and everything around that joint. And basically we're going to take our knife. See, we're coming around it and scrape down. Come around it, scrape down. Scrape down, scrape down, scrape down. You got any connective tissue like that, cut it. And scrape down, scrape down, scrape down. Now we're at a point where we just pulled that bone right out. And we'll go ahead and do that. Same thing over here. We're going to want to repeat the same process on these legs. So find this thigh, and the same thing. We're just going to scrape down, scrape down, scrape down. All we're doing is cutting that connective tissue and scraping the bone down. We want to leave as much of the meat as we possibly can. Okay, so we get to the joint. All right, we just want to cut around that. And same thing, we just scraping down. Now, the only difference with this is on this leg, we're going to take the back of a heavy knife, crack it, and pull it out. And now we have, and be careful, these bones are sharp. We're just going to pull these tenders off. All right. There. Anywhere we need a little bit of meat, we'll place those tenders.